Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held talks with Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Jerusalem today. It comes as the IDF is expanding its ground offensive in Gaza to suffocate Hamas, and after the IDF targets senior Hamas leadership in Doha, Qatar last week. Rubio expressed the United States' commitment to the security of the State of Israel and the common threat of Hamas and its need to be eliminated. ILTV's Shosh Bedrosian has the details.
Two leaders side by side in Jerusalem, both Prime Minister Netanyahu and Secretary of State Marco Rubio stand united in Jerusalem on the ongoing fight against terrorism in the Middle East and the requirement to eliminate Hamas in order to end this war.
America has no better ally than Israel. It's obvious that Israel has no better ally than America. You've been a remarkable partner, and our alliance, I think, has been forged for ages. President Trump says, he said to me the other day, he said, remember October 7th. That's what he said. It's like, remember the Alamo, remember October 7th. And we remember. We remember the savagery, we remember the incredible massacre of the innocents.
Both Netanyahu and Rubio also expressed the importance of getting all 48 hostages out of Gaza, dead or alive, after they were savagely kidnapped on October 7th. After Rubio called for the release of all the hostages, he said Hamas must be eliminated as an armed group, which he says President Trump remains committed to as well. Rubio said Hamas must be eliminated as an armed group before all of Gaza can see peace, and so the people of Gaza can have a better future.
The purpose, of our conversations have been about what the president, I'll restate what the president has repeatedly said. He wants every single hostage released. He wants Hamas eliminated as a threat. And he wants to then have the United States be helpful in rebuilding Gaza for the future that's going to be peaceful and prosperous and not have elements like Hamas operating. That's the goal. Now, how do we achieve that? How do we get there? That's what we're always talking about. That's what we talked about today. And that's going to continue to be the focus of our engagement in this. We want all of the hostages out.
When asked if Israel's strike against Hamas leaders in Doha, Qatar was successful, Netanyahu says it was successful by showing Hamas terrorists that no matter where they go and are located, Israel will find them and they will be targeted. Qatar, a country that harbors Hamas leaders who live in luxury, has condemned the strike on their soil alongside several European countries as well. Netanyahu says there is immense hypocrisy and pointed out the United Nations resolution that was approved after 9/11 that no country can harbor terrorists. The United States did conduct their covert operation inside of Pakistan to eliminate mastermind terrorist Osama bin Laden. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will head to Qatar after this stop in Israel, according to reports. Right now, U.S. Ambassador to Turkey and Special Envoy for Syria Thomas Barrack is also in Qatar right now.
It's day 710 of the war in Gaza, and the IDF is signaling that the ground operation to capture Gaza City will be launched in the coming days or weeks. The army is operating in the outskirts of Gaza City, and estimates say that some 40% of the city is already in Israeli hands. More on this from ILTV's Steve Leibowitz.
With the IDF plan to take over Gaza City taking shape, the army continues taking down high-rise buildings that the terrorists used to track Israeli forces. 4 such buildings were taken down in the past 24 hours alone. Elsewhere in Gaza, intense ground operations are ongoing in Bet Hanun. The IDF says about a dozen Hamas operatives, including field commanders, were killed inside terror tunnels. The IDF and Shin Bet have continued to operate in Bet Hanun to demolish remaining Hamas infrastructure and remnants of the Bet Hanun battalion. The operation focused on the Kasbah, following indications that the operatives were holed up there. As part of the operation, ground troops directed an Israeli Air Force drone to strike several sites, including a significant underground route. Ahead of the army's planned offensive against Hamas in the area, more than 320,000 Palestinians have so far evacuated Gaza City to other areas of the Strip. Some 20,000 are estimated to have left Gaza City overnight. Around 1 million Palestinians were estimated to be residing in Gaza City before the IDF began to prepare for the major offensive against Hamas there. Last week, the IDF ordered all of Gaza City to evacuate immediately ahead of the planned offensive. Meanwhile, according to Israel's coordinator of government activities in the territories, several Hamas officials in Gaza submitted requests for their family members to leave the enclave, and in some cases even requested to leave themselves. Israel rejected the requests, with Kogat saying those same officials had been encouraging other Palestinians not to evacuate Gaza City.
A draft resolution at the Arab-Islamic summit underway in Doha threatens to halt efforts to normalize relations with the Jewish state following Israel's attack on Hamas leaders last week in the Qatari capital. The draft goes beyond condemnations for the Doha strike, accusing Israel with genocide, ethnic cleansing, starvation, and siege, threatening prospects of peace and coexistence in the region. The statement went on to say the actions threaten everything that has been achieved on the path of normalizing ties with Israel, including current agreements and future ones. While harsh in tone, the draft resolution includes no immediate diplomatic or economic measures. Israel continues to say that the attack on Hamas leaders in Doha was justified and that removing Hamas leaders hiding in Qatar is crucial to freeing the 48 Israeli hostages still held in Gaza and to ending the war. Israel is standing firm. No terrorist leadership will be safe, no matter where they hide. The Qatari Prime Minister, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani, slammed Israel's strike on Hamas leaders in Doha, claiming it undermines de-escalation efforts. And joining me now to discuss the headlines is Dr. Kobi Balda, expert in American history and geostrategy at HIT Cholon. Thank you, Kobi, for joining.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Kobi, Netanyahu met with U.S. Secretary Rubio earlier. What would you say were the main takeaways from this meeting? What stuck with you?
So at the beginning, it was meant to be just visiting the holy site where pilgrims went, and he wanted to open that officially by a group called El-Ad. So they're the one who invited him to come and actually to launch the operation or the opening of that tunnel. Obviously, last week, after the bombing on the headquarters of Hamas in Doha, it is spin into talking about that, at least what the Secretary of State did state before he went on the plane yesterday. So I would assume that the conversation was about what Israel is intending to format within the Gaza Strip and what are their thoughts about the next stages. We do have to realize that the Trump administration does not feel comfortable with the fact that we bombed a close ally of Qatar. And even though the rhetoric wasn't too hard on Israel, you could read between the lines that the administration wasn't so satisfied with the bombing in the heart of Doha.
Now, Netanyahu said in the joint press conference that the Doha strike didn't fail and warned Israel will attack again if necessary. What does he mean by didn't fail? And how does this restore or damage Israel's deterrence?
Well, try to get into his shoes. I would assume that what he's trying to say is that we determined, the Israelis, that we can go anywhere in the world and try to revenge the leaders of Hamas who were part of the October 7th massacre. But I would argue that now that we know that most of the management or the senior officials of Hamas was not at the location and probably did not die during that bombing, then no one can really call that as a great success. That being said, we do need to remember that President Trump pledged to Assani that Israel will not bomb again in Qatar. So I do not see how Netanyahu can order another strike on Qatar after Trump pledged that something of that nature will not happen. So I don't see the great victory here. I see somebody who's trying to take a bold move, trying maybe to shake the dead end of the negotiation of the hostage. But unfortunately, it appears that it did not work. And unfortunately, due to the promise of President Trump, I do not see how he will be able to do that again on his term in the next 3 years, trying to eliminate Hamas on Qatar soil.
Now, with both Netanyahu and Rubio speaking about hostages as central to moving forward, what can be expected from this meeting in terms of new offers or guarantees?
Well, for now, as we know, that road is jammed, at least the one that we know that is official. Maybe there's something that we do not know behind scene. The bombing on the headquarters of Qatar took place exactly when the management of Hamas was to sit down and try to discuss the offer of President Trump, saying that all the 20 will be released in day one. That is being said is an offer that President Trump put on the table, because we all need to remember that by the end of September, the Nobel Prize Committee, the most precious and dear thing to the heart of Donald Trump, that he, I would say, rightly believed that he needs to get that, is on the table. And since he couldn't been able to break through on the front of Ukraine, he did hope that he would be able to do in the second most bloodiest conflict in the world right now, which means the Gaza Strip.
Right.
So that's why he put all of his weight into that offer. That offer now is off the table, unless there's something that we do not know. And I don't know to tell you exactly what are they talking about? What are the options that left all the way to the end of September?
Well, Kobi Balda, thank you very much.
Thank you.
עוד יותר, כן, עוד יותר, עוד יותר, כן. מזל טוב.
אתה הכי טוב. עוד יותר טוב.
אלבר, רק את הטוב! ועוד הנפקה מוצלחת לחברת ההייטק הישראלית.
אולי תהיה יותר טוב משם.
גבירותיי ורבותיי, נחתנו זה עתה בנמל התעופה בן גוריון. ברוכים הבאים לישראל.
Israel is strong and growing. Now, more than ever, is the time to make Aliyah.
The University of Haifa has honored philanthropists Dr. Neri Oxman and Bill Ackman with honorary doctorates of philosophy, recognizing their contributions to innovation, leadership, and their unwavering commitment to Israel. ILTV's Mayan Hoffman was at the ceremony. Let's take a look.
Bill Ackman, a leading investor and philanthropist, together with his wife, Dr. Neri Oxman, have advanced global initiatives in health, science research, education, and culture through Pershing Square Philanthropies. The couple has also been at the forefront of the fight against anti-Semitism, while making major investments in Israel's economic growth. On the sidelines of the University of Haifa honorary diploma event, Ackman reflected on the shocking murder of conservative influencer and evangelical Christian leader Charlie Kirk, a staunch supporter of Israel, in a short interview.
I think there's a radicalization that's happened globally, and it only takes one bad actor to have such a tragedy. Charlie was a very important voice. While his death is a tragedy, he hopefully will not die in vain.
Ackman then turned to Israel, explaining why he continues to stand with the country despite 23 months of war and widespread international criticism.
I focus on the truth that keeps life simple. I'm very optimistic about Israel's future.
On Rosh Hashanah, every bite of apple and honey holds a quiet prayer. May this year be better. May it be sweeter. But the blessing of sweetness stands on the edge of disappearing. Bee populations are collapsing from habitat loss and disease, taking with them something more than honey, a promise to future generations. Technion researchers are harnessing the power of science racing to save our world's tiniest heroes before it's too late. They're creating AI-powered hives that protect and heal, and robotic bees that lend a helping wing. L'Adore Vador, from generation to generation, means caring for every link in the chain, keeping the sweetness of this holiday alive. Because tradition isn't just about the past, it's about the future we have the courage to create.
Israel is once again rewriting the future of warfare with technology that stops one of the most dangerous threats on the modern battlefield: drones. ILTV's Mayan Hoffman took a visit to Israel Weapon Industries in Kiryat Gat. Let's see what she learned.
Welcome to Israel Weapons Industries, one of the world's most sophisticated weapons companies in the world, sitting here in the southern part of Israel. Today we're going to learn about the Arbel anti-drone system, a system to shoot down drones more effectively, but most importantly, faster. Let's take a look. Israel Weapon Industries, or IWI, has long been the home of legendary firearms, such as the Uzi, the Galil, and the Negev. But today, the spotlight is on something entirely new: the Arbel anti-drone system. The system is deceptively simple. Built directly into the AR-15 platform, it allows soldiers to use their existing rifles, optics, and ammunition without any need for special gear.
You can see I can operate the system and the gun at the same time.
What Arbel does is revolutionary. An electronic trigger and internal computer take over after the first shot, firing only when the shooter is stable on target.
I'm going to show you first the Arbel mode. Now keep in mind, I press down the trigger and I keep holding it. My follow shot will be only when I'm actually again in the target.
That stabilization transforms a nearly impossible task, hitting a moving drone at 250 meters, into something achievable for any trained shooter. Tests show hit probability jumping from around 5% to over 70%.
The drone threat is something growing very fast, very rapidly through the last few years. Small tactical drones are very simple, very cheap solution from the enemy side.
These drones drop grenades, spy on troop movements, and sow fear for armies across Europe, from Ukraine to Poland, and for countries facing terror groups on multiple fronts. The Arbel provides a critical, low-cost answer.
These forces need something easy, some simple solution to eliminate these threats, and this is exactly what our anti-drone systems offer.
And that's why, despite whispers of silent boycotts, ILTV was told that demand is booming. The Arbel is proving itself not just as a weapon, but as a future commodity of modern war.
They don't need to change their optics, they don't need to change the way they use the rifle. All they need to do is to aim at the target, pull the trigger, keep it pulled, and now concentrate only on correctly aiming.
Israel has built its defense industry on necessity. At IWI, that necessity is turning into innovation the world cannot ignore.
Now, Chimes Israel is one of the country's leading nonprofits supporting children and adults with disabilities, running 26 programs for more than 1,400 families across all communities. During the recent war, their staff risked their lives to bring therapy, food, and critical care to vulnerable children in Ashkelon. Joining us now is Pamela Azaria, International Resources Director from Chimes Israel, here to share how they're responding and why a new fortified center is urgently needed. Thank you for being here, Pamela.
Thank you so much for having me, Sivan. I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for being here. For viewers who don't know, Pamela, what is Chimes Israel?
Chimes Israel is a nonprofit in Israel. We've been around for 34 years. We help people with disabilities. We pioneered the early childhood model. We're known for innovation, and this model provides therapy, diagnosis, childcare, and parental guidance all under one roof. We serve 1,400 people across Israel, and their children from ages 6 months to adults, to elderly adults. We also serve everyone, anyone who needs our services: Jews, Christians, Muslims, religious, secular, anyone who who needs us, we're there to help. And our mission is simple. It's to foster dignity, inclusion, independence, and quality of life for people with disabilities.
Now tell me, what happened in Ashkelon during the war, and how did Chimes respond to that?
So, as you know, Ashkelon is about 6 miles from Gaza, and when there's a siren alerting of a rocket or a missile, people have only 30 seconds to reach shelter. So our centers were closed after October 7th, and like everyone else, our families were sheltering in the safe room because there were more rockets in Ashkelon than any other city in Israel. Our staff kept in daily contact with our families, and they found out that they were running out of essentials. Many of the moms were parenting alone because the fathers were called up to defend the country. And so when we saw that it wasn't going to end soon, we started an emergency fund. We brought food, medicine, diapers, therapeutic equipment, everything they need, also iPads, so we could have remote learning, and staff resilience training for our staff. Most amazingly, because our families and our children could not come to our centers, we brought our centers to them. Our staff braved the rockets to come to each family's house once a week to provide therapy and relief for the parents. And what we realized was our situation is vulnerable. Our current centers are not protected against missile fire, and we need to build a new fortified early childhood center so that our children get the protection they need in times of conflict.
So important. Now, just really briefly, what's your message to our viewers?
So my message is, this is a tough time right now. We can't stop the war. We can't help free the hostages. We can't stop this crazy anti-Semitism that's happening worldwide. But we can help these children to build a center that will give them the services, the therapy, in a safe environment, the environment they need to thrive, and they deserve it.
Absolutely. Pamela Azaria, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, a powerful Israeli documentary about October 7th has just won the People's Choice Award for Best Documentary at the Toronto International Film Festival. The film, The Road Between Us, The Ultimate Rescue, tells the incredible true story of retired IDF General Noam Tibon, who risked his life to rescue his family from Hamas terrorists during their deadly invasion of southern Israel on October 7th, 2023. The film was briefly pulled from the festival due to anti-Israel sentiment and protests, but after public outcry and a correction from festival organizers, it was reinstated and then celebrated. TIFF CEO Cameron Bailey admitted the festival mishandled the submission, but audiences responded loud and clear, voting it their favorite documentary of the entire festival. This is a major win for Israeli storytelling and a tribute to bravery in the face of terror. Now let's take a look at the weather forecast. Clear skies are expected tonight around the country, with temperatures reaching lows of around 23 degrees Celsius or 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Then tomorrow, partly cloudy skies are expected alongside hot temperatures, reaching highs of 30 degrees Celsius or 88 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a wrap for today's news. For the latest updates from Israel on all your devices, be sure to follow our ILTV channels and our new live channel. And you can also watch us on Screen IL with 24/7 live coverage. Stay informed with the latest news straight from the heart of Israel. I'm Sivan Raviv. Be well, be safe, and thank you so much for watching.